My friend, the latest Diddy news. Diddy apparently sucking up this past Thanksgiving to his fellow inmates. Diddy used to parade among the elite in mansions and penthouses, crowned by champagne bottles and celebrity glamour. Now he's locked behind the confines, the fences of a federal prison in Fort Dix. And in a move dripping with irony and opportunism, he decided to play savior for 1,000 inmates at the Federal Correctional Institution Fort Dix in New Jersey. He organized a Thanksgiving-style dinner for convicts. That's nice for those serving time along with him. And on paper, it looked like generosity. In reality, it reeked of performative virtue signaling. That's right, a staged act of feigned kindness by a man whose past is, well, as you can imagine, stained with disturbing allegations. Now, of course, he also did it to perhaps maybe engender favor, and, he's got to be smart. Prisoners, it turns out, prepared the meal over 2 days using makeshift cooking tools and even chopping food with their ID cards because the facility's kitchen lacked proper equipment. It's not a good idea to give people in prison knives. And the chefs, as one of the inmates called them, boiled, chopped, and portioned food door to door. On the surface, it may have brought warmth to cold cell blocks, but underneath, it reeked of manipulation. Because you see, Diddy, who was, of course, a convicted felon serving a 50-month sentence for transportation of sex workers via violation of the Mann Act, part of a string of sex-related convictions and abuse allegations, though acquitted of the big ones, he tried to recast himself as a compassionate benefactor among criminals. And it's fascinating, and it makes sense if you think about it. Because wouldn't you do it as well? But let's not forget. Let's not forget the greater context, shall we? This is a man whose legacy outside prison includes deeply disturbing behavior. Surveillance footage once revealed reportedly showed Combs assaulting his ex-girlfriend, the singer Cassie Ventura. The video I know of, you've seen probably a million times, depicted him dragging her by the neck and the hair into a hotel hallway, kicking her brutally while she lay on the ground pleading for her life. And of course, there are multiple ongoing sexual abuse claims against him, accusations that never sit well with the crowds who now see him as giving back. He gave back. That's a different story. He staged freak-off sex parties during his wild Jake Till Dawn years, his parties that prosecutors later said involved coerced women. And now he's behind bars and still projecting to the world that he's looking out for his brothers behind bars. The projection demands scrutiny because his prison Thanksgiving stunt stuff isn't redemption. It's damage control. Damage control wrapped in turkey gravy. So let's call this what it is. Sucking up to the fellow felons under the guise of holiday charity. And it's easy to donate from privilege. It's harder, however, to contrast what your lifestyle costs. What lives may have been harmed must be considered as well. But also, but Combs isn't confronting anything really. He's using a prison dinner where the same inmates who committed serious crimes are celebrating camaraderie. He's using that to polish a kind of a tarnished image. And while mainstream media and entertainment outlets may kind of frame the story as a touching gesture, there's a cynical undertone there that refuses to be acknowledged. It's a convicted sex offender turned inmate now becoming a philanthropist among prisoners. That's nobility, right? That's optics. That's feigned nobility. That's moral laundering. That's rewriting the narrative to suggest that, once you're down, I'll help you up. So Combs and his PR handlers pitched it as an empathy for the broken, the lonely, the forgotten during the holidays. But empathy is earned from honesty. Real sorrow, real restitution, not symbolism cooked in a prison pot. And certainly not when the cooking utensils are prison commissary basics and intimate portions of things chopped with inmate ID cards. Now look, the same cards, by the way, that once counted the steps, the infractions, the lost freedoms of men convicted of serious... But look, I mean, can you blame the guy? If anything, the dinner laid bare the contradictions of Sean's life. I call him Sean. See, once he lorded over exclusive VIP tables, and now he sits with his fellow prisoners who'd lost their freedom, some for violent acts, some for crimes against individuals. Some, the same man, by the way, once impeccably groomed and paid handsomely to throw lavish parties, now dines, ironically, on meager prison fare. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But the message his stunt really sends is dangerous. It glorifies prison as some kind of a communal refuge where even a high-profile felon can play humanitarian. It implicitly normalizes crime by framing inmates as just people inside who deserve kindness from a formerly celebrated mogul. It sanitizes the suffering of victims. It glosses over the immoral behavior that led to those convictions. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't even matter. Some might say it also highlights the hypocrisy of celebrity culture. People who built vast wealth off entertainment and excess now treat prison as a backdrop for redemption. Redemption-themed photo ops when respected journalists write uplifting stories about Thanksgiving behind bars. The victims are forgotten. The victims of violence, of coercion. The ones whose lives were changed by Combs' actions before the walls closed in. And let's not underestimate the PR value, my friends. When the headlines read, Diddy feeds 1,000 inmates, sympathy spikes. Conversations shift from, why was he convicted, to, look how charitable he is. That shift doesn't happen by accident. It's carefully managed, and it should be. I don't blame him. And it's precisely what he and his handlers want. Now, for conservatives, or whatever that means, for those who believe in law and order, the spectacle could be disturbing. Not because the act of feeding prisoners is inherently wrong. Even the most hardened criminals still deserve basic human dignity. But the issue is the celebration, the fanfare, the schmaltz, the decision to frame prison as a community gathering, and him as a hero. It's dishonest, it's exploitative, and it insults victims and their suffering. What would genuine accountability look like from a man like Combs? What do you think? It would start with, coming clean with every allegation, cooperating with authorities, offering real apologies, restitution and humility. It wouldn't look like orchestrated dinners in federal lockups. It wouldn't look like virtue signaling behind steel bars. Instead, some say it would look like silence, reflection, and justice for those harmed. But that isn't what we got. Instead, we got a PR stunt. A carefully timed story aimed to redefine him from criminal sexual or sex trafficker and abuser and accuser, somebody who was viewed from that, who veered into some kind of caring inmate turned inmate savior. That narrative isn't just morally bankrupt. It's a betrayal of justice. It's a betrayal of victims, a betrayal of the idea that crime maybe carries consequences. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. In the end, feeding 1,000 inmates doesn't free a man's conscience. It just furnishes him with, talking points. The slate isn't clean just because a few plates are full. So Sean Diddy Combs may have served a meal behind bars, but what he really served was a distraction. A cynical attempt, some say, to rehabilitate not his character. That would require transparency and true contrition. No, but instead his image. And as long as media plays along, that image becomes a soft shield. The people who deserve our attention are not the white linen and turkey dinners behind prison walls. They are the ones who got hurt to put him there. Until we remember them, the meal, many suggest, is meaningless. So let me see, what saith you? Is this too tough? I don't know if it's too tough. All I know is it's fascinating. In some respects, Sean Combs can't win. Whatever he does is considered schmaltz and disingenuous. To others, it's like, what are you going to do? In any event, my friends, I say, think about this. And what do you think? What are your thoughts and comments? Comment. Comment accordingly. Comment in our world. Comment in our section as I provide some good questions for you. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video. You know that 70 to 80% of the people who watch our videos don't even subscribe? It's horrible. But in the meantime, my friends, I ask you right now to subscribe and most importantly to comment as you see fit.